Welcome to the cast today. Hello, BGs and MBs. My name's Quickshot. I'm joined by Caedrel for the first two games today. Berlin, thank you for the noise and the cheers. And I mean, Caedrel, listening to Perkz there a little bit, self-reflection. I think I like hearing it. I do think you have to eventually show, you know, the development, the growth, because ego drafts, Vitality, no, I would have thought that.
Yeah, I think a lot went wrong for them yesterday. I think Perkz is right with the draft. Their only really engaged was an Ahri charm landing, and when that landed in one of the fights, all of them basically died. So I think Photon needs to step up a little bit. He got counterpicked with the Gwen into Cassante. He got solo killed. We'll see if he can show a good performance. A lot of people rate Photon as one of the best top laners we have in the league. So getting killed 1v1 like that and not having good team fights in the mid to late game was a bit of a shame.
And of course, both Vitality and SK losing their respective games yesterday. Both games fairly hard fought. Some of the more, shall we say, balanced of the opening day here in Summer. One of these teams will be able to pick up that win. But we definitely want to see a little bit more because I think expectations versus performance yesterday, a little bit lower than anticipated for Vitality and SK.
Definitely. Let's get into draft.
So what's happening with Zeri and Yuumi? Where's it going to be banned? Where will it be picked? Obviously the power picks this patch. Yeah. I think it was Reckless was saying already, Jack, a little bit ago, we can just get over it. Just leave it in the past. You know, we've seen the Zeri, Ender was saying Zeri and Yuumi lost 2 games yesterday, so that means it sucks, right?
And Exakick was one of the pilots of that, almost made an incredible comeback. Of course, they did end up hitting the Nexus, so he lost with it. Zeri gonna get banned away from SK. 2 champions who have risen in priority a lot in the LPL specifically are Ahri and Annie, a lot very kind of heavy prio first picks. We'll see if that's the direction these EU teams want to go in, but I think, you know, bot laners are just the name of the game.
And the next question as well is what's going to happen with that LeBlanc? Hunoy played it so well yesterday. We just saw that breakdown. Thank you, Coming Videos, for that TED Talk on Static Shift.
Thank you, Coming.
Very powerful combination. Melio, as well as Zeri and Vi, as well as now Lucian in the ban pool. There's one very excited fan screaming ban Yuumi a second ago. I love you, man or woman, whoever you are. Let's find out if it does get banned.
Yeah, I expect it to be a red side ban, especially with that Melio takeaway, unless Kaiser's not feeling it and wants to take both of them away. I think if Melio and Yuumi are down, Rakan becomes really, really powerful. Aphelios rises up. Jace Maokai is a really powerful 1-2 on red side if they want to cover that off. So Vitality not only making the crowd happy, but going to make their bot lane happy as well. We saw them play up against it, and now they don't want to play against it themselves.
And of course, taking a look at the Rakan, 4 games played for Kaiser all year, 3 games played for DOS. And in fact, both of these respective supports' most played champion this year has been Lulu.
Yep.
The other picks that we have seen a fair amount. One last ban here from SK. Slower approach to bans here. A lot more contemplative, removing some of those really OP picks.
Well, Cassante's open. They've taken away the Nico. Do they want to... Oh, LeBlanc, of course. I mean, is it the first pick worthy? Here it is. Yes. It indeed. So LeBlanc's going to get slammed in for Perkz. You know, he's famous for his LeBlanc, and now with this new static shift build, such a powerful champion. SK, do they have a response to it? Is the Jace Maokai something they want to go for? Aphelios, Rakan?
Well, we'll find out in a second. I just want to touch on that LeBlanc really quickly. It's Perkz' 3rd most played champion all time. 37 professional games, 70% win ratio on that particular champion. And we saw that combination with Static Shift, how powerful it is. The Rakan immediately locked in there. So great call, Caedrel. And Exakick can go for that Xayah if he wants to as well.
And oftentimes you try to think of counters to LeBlanc. And with this new Static Shift build, no one's really found it. LeBlanc typical counters, you know, Lissandra perhaps, Kassadin used to be an old school thing you'd like to pick into it. Anything that can push the LeBlanc in is really what you want to look towards. But now that LeBlanc can really push back because of this new build, they're going to go for the Annie anyway. Doesn't have as much lockdown as you would want. It has a stun, of course, that you can play off of, but LeBlanc got a lot of dashes to get away, and it's going to be more for the team fights with the Rakan. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Wukong come out here on 3 for Markoon, unless they want to lock in an AD like Aphelios to make sure they can match bot side here, or a Jinx. Full team fights, what SKs want to do, and they don't really want to care about this LeBlanc too much in the individual 1v1 or the jungle 2v2. Jungler is going to get taken away here. Cassante is still up. We'll see if that's something SK look towards on 4, if they want to ban away things like the Gwen from Photon. Alternatively, if junglers do start to get banned away, like the Maokai and the Wukong, then we might be looking something towards a Viego, a Volibear, a Kha'Zix, maybe for Markoon.
Well, a couple of options already. Nocturne immediately removed from the pool, so maybe leaning towards that jungle bans. I do like the combinations that's coming here already with the Rakan Annie. Some of those, you know, initiation tools, hard CC, but there's also, you know, dodging abilities on the side of the LeBlanc, the Xayah. So mechanics, vision, when you see who's going to be able to execute well enough. Top lane focus for Vitality, removing that Scion from the pool. So SK, do they ban themselves yet another jungler and push us towards that direction or not? I mean, for now, both of these drafts can still go in a variety of directions. What would be your priority pick here? Is that Maokai still something to concern, considering the signs were removed?
I think Wukong for SK is quite a nice 4 pick, and as long as Gwen is up and Irrelevant's happy with it, they're going to take it with the K'Sante anyway, so they don't want to play against the K'Sante blind from Photon. I think Photon won't struggle to find a blind pick top, can go towards something like the Gnar, worst case. Renekton has been really powerful in this patch. We haven't seen it too much in Europe. Gragas is a good match to that, so there's the Wukong takeaway on 4. Taking away a few options, you're looking at Kha'Zix Viego here if they want to pick that up here for Markoon and give counter pick to top, unless they prioritize something like the Ornn, but that'll be a dangerous blind pick. I think we're looking at a relevant last pick here. Okay,
relevant last pick, 10 games on the Gnar, then followed by Jax Renekton. Definitely leaning towards that Gnar as his priority. Wukong with it being banned away. For Markoon, most played, Sejuani we're looking at next. Instead, it's going to be the Maokai now locked in, 5th time this year.
Yep.
So like you said, leaving that option for Irrelevant, see what Photon wants to run in that top lane, give him the option to either counter or find something that benefits the team.
There's the Renekton. I think this champ's just so powerful. His E cooldown went down, his R, his ultimate got buffed. Really powerful pick in the LCK. Renekton, Sejuani, easy 4-5. I think Gragas is going to come out here for Irrelevance when it comes to those team fights, or Ornn, something that can help the rest of his team. There's no real huge counter that'll win the lane enough, unless they want to go Jace. You can rock Jace, Maokai top jungle, but it's so risky. If you fall behind against Renekton, Sejuani, LeBlanc, you're going to be very, very useless. Poppy could work. They have got a few dashes. The Maokai can lock down the LeBlanc with the W. The Poppy can stop the engage, but any kind of team fighting top will round out the comp. Yeah,
and of course, there we go. Was going to be the Ornn, ends up being the answer to LeBlanc. Zoom out and look at the two compositions. What do you make of the 5v5s and how they're going to win the game, Caedrel?
I mean, SK have a really good front-to-back kind of ball 5v5 comp. The only worry I have for them is there's a lot of AP damage on their team. It's only really the Jinx that's going to be the attack damage, so they need to get the ball rolling on the Jinx. Make sure that bot side's safe. They have a lot of losing lanes as well, and a lot of lanes that can die quite easily. So I think bot side's going to have to be covered. Top jungle is incredibly strong. Vitality, they're going to run away. It's a similar game for Vitality in the day 1, where they're playing up against Mad Lions with things like Yuumi and Azir. Enemy team has a lot of scaling and a lot of team fight. You have a lot of pick potential and a lot of CC and a lot of early game. So can you get the ball rolling? Can you shut down the Jinx? And can you get these champions into a 1-3-1 setup and start pushing advantages?
And I mean, look, from my perspective, based on what Perkz was saying as well, looking at the team composition, looking at the synergies, they've got more tools as well this time around. That's Sejuani for engage the follow-up from that Nautilus, going to be very powerful. I do love the pressure point you talked about, early game. Can they get ahead of this Renekton LeBlanc? Kind of feel like if they don't have some sort of advantage going into the mid game, that 5v5 from SK is going to look real scary.
It is. They need to make sure they get a lead, stack these dragons, fight these heralds. I think looking towards bot with the Nautilus can work really easily. Renekton can play in isolation, can also visit that in the early stages, but barring that, you need to get the Jinx behind. Vitality versus SK, game 1 ready for day 2. God.
Nailed it! Nailed it! And welcome to Summoner's Rift. It's real hot here in Berlin. A little bit of brain fog there, Caedrel.
Yeah, stuttering all over the place.
Stumbling just a touch?
Yeah.
Well, let's see whether or not SK stutter on this little invade. They've grouped up as 5. Going to instead back away, not risk this. Defensive start on the rest of Vitality. A little bit of push forward here from Bo and Photon. Taking a quick look down. TP's not seeing anything too exciting on the sides of Keystones.
Yeah, well, Markoon's gone first strike, and he's taken the Red's smite as well, so he's going for the very poke-centric Maokai with a little bit of damage, maybe a demonic embrace, not going that aftershock Maokai. Oftentimes you actually go phase rush into the Sejuani, just to avoid that 1v1 and 2v2 chase down potential, but that ward will help spot him start on the Raptors. Looks like Bo is going to start on the bot side as well. Maybe we see some invade from Bo. He can do red Raptors, Krugs, look for an invade onto the enemy bot side, or the Sertuss. The sweeper obviously doesn't last as long as it used to in the previous patches, so not going to find that ward.
I want to keep my eyes on Exakick and DOS, see whether or not can handle this lane. You talked a little bit about how Exakick is going to be the primary AD damage here for SK. And for Exakick, based on the performance you've seen throughout the year, a little bit of a slow start yesterday. Reckless had some very strong words, talking a little bit about FLICKR's return to the league, him stepping up, and now for Exakick, he'll be staring down the battle of upset. Both of the respective junglers, opposite sides of the map. You can already see Photon starting to push forward here.
He's got a cull as well, Exakick, so he wants to scale. Watch the hook, though.
Well, we're able to connect, and a little bit of a trade back and forth. too much damage to speak of. Kaiser trading his HP for Exakick there. Fighting quite aggressively here for the minion wave, pushing towards level 2.
And here's the LeBlanc tech, level 2 now for Perkz. Has the fleet footwork, longsword, hook from Kaiser.
Oh, Dredgeline connects. How did that land? Exakick forced to use the cleanse down to 110 HP.
In what
and steps away. That curved the bullet.
In what world does that hit? That bent around the Rakan hitbox and hit the Jinx. So now Exakick's a bit scared. So here's the 3 bot camps from Bo into the invade. Gonna go into the enemy jungle on the bot side. Find the Maokai and keep this bot lane in isolation. If the Maokai doesn't show up, he can dive bots really easily. But Markoon needs to cover his AD carry and support. He's going to see the Sejuani dash over the wall. As they catch the wave, the bot lane of Vitality will move up to secure the buff, and that'll be the early pressure they're looking for.
Really, really good start there. Nautilus hooks can be so janky.
Right.
That literally swung all the way around. I also think this mining Nautilus skin is definitely one more of the particular skins that does that. Perkz also jumping in here. So 4 members of Vitality pushing Markoon away. He's lost his blue buff. He's lost his Gromp. Now Bo setting up for a potential tower dive.
I think they overextended a little bit. Oh, Bo's just gonna... Hello.
He's flashed for this one. Arctic Assault is available. The root, the stun. Exakick is down. DOS is the next target. And first blood to Vitality. They knew Vitality were there.
So what SK bot lane was trying to do there is they knew that Vitality was overstaying in their jungle. So they thought they could push out the bot wave while they're there really quickly and then get a base off. But they get caught napping, thinking they could push it out a bit faster. Markoon is in this bush. Photon is going to spot him out. He should be able to dash over the wall here.
Just an advance forward. Slice and dice available if needed. Not going to be, but literally exactly like you were talking about in draft. Bottom lane under pressure.
Yep.
Bo sets it up beautifully. And Exakick and DOS, they just get punished literally like half a lane too far forward. But I appreciate and respect Bo for that flash engage.
I would love to see the replay and watch SK's bot lane just to see how they navigate that play, because I think they were really trying to get that bot wave out as quick as possible, and that would have made the whole situation so much easier. You know, Vitality would have to run back and catch the wave, and we'll see this again. How does this hook hit? Like,
honestly, that's BS.
That is BS.
What the
Yeah, so they're trying to push the bot wave. There it is. They get the creeps, but then Bo, he knows they're not going to be able to get out of this, so he flashes over the wall, make sure they can get the kill on the Exakick. DOS ends up living. And they lose a couple creeps there, Vitality, but it's always going to be worth it. Both the summoners out from the Jinx means this bot lane is even more fragile.
All 4 sums are down for SK's bottom lane. 400 gold down. Upset still got Flash and Cleanse available. Kaiser obviously with that Hex Flash. Ignite will be up fairly soon. Level 3s apiece. We haven't taken a look yet. Top lane dead even on CS, dead even in the middle lane. It's all about that bottom lane for the first 5 minutes. And I'm keeping an eye now. Where is Bo? So he's moving into the western quadrant. Markoon is already backed, picked himself up the Giant's belt. Bo could go fishing for some targets. Great vision in this topside river here for Vitality.
Ooh, Sertuss is in trouble.
Flash available to him. Flail connects. Chain does. Flashes away from Kaiser. And Sertuss will live for now. But another summoner blown. Another successful gank for Bo.
And the wave sucks for Sertuss, doesn't it? He needs to get this wave out. Markoon's here to hover. DOS is on his way up. It's a 3v3. But yeah, Bo's going to go over to his camp. Let that wave go in. They got the flash. And that frees up Perkz. That means that Perkz can start to join these fights soon.
Take a look at this. Exakick making his way up to Vitality Fancy. 4 members of SK. Looking for an opportunity. Upset's going to arrive. Dredgeline connects. DOS stepping forward. Perkz level 5. The Arctic Assault in. And the first victim is already secured. Now Bo is traded back. SK find 2 quick kills and punish Vitality's engage.
Vitality, I wonder what the thought process there was. Maybe they thought they had a numbers advantage and Exakick was in base. I think Kaiser hooked that bush expecting a 4v3. But look at Exakick. He's hiding out of vision. And as he hooks in, DOS blocks the hook. No flash, of course, so Perkz is a little bit late. He has to W to even get in range to try and help out. Only has a longsword. He hasn't even based yet. Upset gets rooted off to the side, so the carries can't do anything. No flashes on the front line. They just die. Walked into the meat grinder. 2
kills secured for Sertuss's Annie. And I think you called that perfectly. I don't think they knew Exakick was there. Flame Chompers comes down, immediately slows down any potential engage, and SK could just literally 4 versus 1 focus down SK.
Yeah.
To take that gold lead and both of the kills land in that mid lane.
It's a similar story to yesterday again for Vitality. They get a really good 2v2 trade in bot lane, they dive bot, they get a kill for Upset. Looks like the ball starts rolling, they take a bad fight, and now they're behind. And, well, I wouldn't say behind in a sense, but behind in the game state, because the Jinx is even now. If not, she's going to get free bases, she's sitting on a cull, and, you know, the Xayah has not actually found a lead just yet. No flash on mid, maybe Vitality can look to get the shutdown on the Annie, but their options have become a bit more slim.
And crucially, just it slows down that momentum that was being built up. Bo had chained together a couple of successful ganks. started to apply pressure. I mean, Sertuss just lost his flash, what, 30 seconds before that?
Yeah.
And he ends up walking away with 2 kills, the only 2 for SK.
Yeah, Vitality gonna keep their foot on the gas, gonna go for a dragon start, but Upset ideally wants the base. He's low on mana. Exakick's coming out of base, and this is also what happened yesterday. Bo started up objectives when his lanes weren't in the greatest of states, and he just eventually got collapsed on and was forced off of the objective. Full vision on the enemy jungler. They see him running topside to his camps to try and get 6, so now SK can use that information as they please. Markoon's gonna pick up this crab. Not gonna get towards that level 6 just yet. Needs to get the red buff first. And Bo spotted once again.
Yeah, Bo's very close to getting access to that Glacial Prison. Very nearly level 6. Ultimates available for the solo laners respectively. I think Exakick just got his Mega Death Rocket. The wave should be caught here by Upset and it should be replied. I mean, we haven't seen Irrelevant and Photon getting involved in the game just yet. Photon has TP'd, whereas Irrelevant has his available. So keep that in mind if there are any shenanigans around the Herald or the Dragon. It does look like a couple of SK pings and the lanes swapped here. So SK may be going to make a play here for this Herald.
Yeah, it's going to be a Herald fight. Level 4 on both supports, nowhere near that ultimate. So Upset realizes what the play is. He's moving up. They need to contest this here, Vitality. You don't want to give away a Herald with this kind of comp against Jinx, Rakan, Annie. Let's see how they respond then. Ornn TP mid. Vitality's trying to burst this Herald down. Kaiser's lying in wait with the hook ready. Markoon, I don't think he can steal this, but maybe they can look for the fight.
Ornn available. Maokai ultimate thrown down. Dredge line on the side. That burst is gigantic. Kaiser is cooked. The eye is picked up by Vitality, but at the cost of Kaiser's life. They do get the teleport out of Irrelevant, so there is some potential money to be gained if they can use that effectively, but ultimately, SK come away with yet another kill in Sertuss's back pocket.
You have to question the decision again from Vitality. It looked like Kaiser wants to turn, but everyone from Vitality is happy with the objective. They're running away from the Maokai ult, so they get that kill. SK are then going to move towards this dragon. Perkz TP'd in bot to push in the wave to try and match SK's play to give the information to Vitality, push them off of this dragon, so good TP by him. He's not got the static shift just yet, but once he gets that power spike, he should be able to start pushing out these waves a lot quicker.
So there's 2 thoughts about this. Number 1, we see Vitality again, kind of glimpses of players not necessarily being on exactly the same page. Kaiser going in, the rest of him kind of falling out. Secondly, with the fact that the Herald is available for Bo, if they can generate some gold from that, theoretically, you could come away with a higher value play, because they did get the TP from Irrelevant, and of course, they only lost 1 member. But that does mean it has to be used effectively, and right now, they've actually got some prio in this bottom river, so they may be able to pick up an uncontested dragon. So for Vitality, those are a few good signs. Let's see what the next couple of minutes play.
Definitely a winning play. You know, local gold 300 from the Herald, you get plates from it too, upwards of 300 as well. So net positive, of course. Just a little bit sloppy here and there. Exakick's going to throw out the rocket, maybe trying to stop some recalls after the dragon goes down. But SK are weathering this early game storm pretty well. They're sitting pretty comfortably with an even gold situation. So let's watch this again. The Herald goes down, the Maokai ult comes out, and I think Vitality are just saying, you know what, let's leave here. Sejuani position looks like she's just going to pick up the eye. Photon and Perkz are running backwards, and Kaiser's hooking in. So a bit of miscommunication, perhaps good routes from Upset, but the solo lanes are too far away to follow up.
They're all trapped in that Maokai ultimate as well, so even if they could have gone in, CC was going to be enough of a zoning tool there, so ultimately, Vitality now, they have the potential to earn it back. It's always potential because the Rift Herald needs to be executed well in order to actually gain that advantage. Half of that cooldown is already used. And
Trevor, this static shift LeBlanc.
First item.
I hate it. Like, he's just one-shotting the wave in their face. And of course, it scales, static shift scales 250% damage from your AP onto minions. So if you can get a little bit of AP, you auto-attack that wave once, it's just dead. So right now, he's sitting on 0 ability power. Once he gets, you know, a Ludens, the wave's just dead, or a Night Harvester we saw from Showmaker.
Sorry, there's a sentence I did not think I would hear. A LeBlanc at 11 minutes has 0 ability power.
Yeah, she does, yeah. Adaptive Force coming into AD from the static shift. And we saw Showmaker going Night Harvester, I think it was, which I think is a really good build. You can proc everything off it off the static shift. You can go Lich Bane as well if you want for even more on-hit. So we'll see what direction Perkz goes in.
Couple minutes to go for that. Of course, that first dragon was secured. Quick check in there on CS numbers. Photon's been able to generate around a 20 CS lead, 600 gold in their top lane. Mythics completed for both junglers as well as that Leandries to match, I use that word loosely, the static shift. And take a look at line of summons. All right, so both of our mid laners are now pushing and controlling bottom lane. Stun lands from Sertuss. The rest of Vitality pushing mid and now roaming into SK's side of the map, moving into the jungle. So potential dive or looking at potentially dropping the Herald for the tower.
Herald for the tower is exactly it. I don't think they'll get the full thing unless they can get a couple more hits on it.
Sertuss is low.
Yes, flash.
Fancy a fight. Nature's Grasp forward. Bo will be able to get to that blast cone. Rift Herald finds the charge. Plates go down. Half of that first last plate remaining.
Yep.
And it looks like they're sticking around. They want this tower.
Plate's still up, and of course the plate's even stronger now on these new patches, so it doesn't look like Upset's going to be able to force the whole thing down. Sertuss has TP after this wave to come back and defend it a little bit longer. Perkz just playing a little bit of mind games with Markoon there on the ultimate.
So listen, 12 minutes in, and it's only a 600 gold lead here for Vitality. And we talked in draft about how SK's comp had sort of, 3 losing lanes or 3 lanes that may have struggled in the early game. They've weathered that storm. They've punished Vitality and found the kills. All 3 of them in Sertuss's mid lane Annie. I think as we start gearing up to moving on these maps, SK have already shown their comp works really well front to back. That Ornn and Maokai is going to be very difficult for LeBlanc and Renekton to navigate. So we have to find those flanking opportunities for Vitality. And they've got to be very, very careful, because if they do overstep, the counter engage is just so high from SK.
It really is. They've got a lot of CC of their own. Perkz just contesting these mid waves constantly with that static shift, getting the waves under tower. We're always trying to force DOS away, not let him take any of these wards. Wants to make sure he gets as much vision for his mid laner as possible to keep this mid to bot Vitality. Want to keep pressure on this bot side jungle, crack open that first blood tower for Upset, and then get the Xayah out of lane, and then get into that 1-3-1 state where they can start pushing sides. Photon.
A little bit of pressure here. Markoon's making his way up, level 8. Well, the Forge God finds the connection, flashes into the Super Mega Deathrocker, but Markoon's got no Nature's Grasp available. So Photon will drop the Dominus, will flash away. Here comes Sertuss. Tibbers is available and drop down. Incinerate, Disintegrate. The 4th kill for Sertuss's end.
Really good roam there by Sertuss. He moves top as his bot lane moves mid. They know bot tower's dead. There's no point in defending it. It's a couple of hits, so let's look for a cross map. They get the Renekton, they get a plate as well, so they found some response in gold, and that'll help out the Annie a lot going later on in these team fights. Got Leandri's gonna go. Perkz looking for a kill perhaps onto him, but
Sapling toss did so much work. So it's just sticking around.
Not gonna be able to find him. Sertuss should just be able to catch his wave pretty happily.
That distortion, not gonna be stunned in the course of it. The one thing I keep looking at the minimap, Vitality have done a very good job of warding up the river, warding up the area of the jungle where they are playing. So Upset, when he was pushing to the inner turret, had so much information available to him. I think that is going to be crucial, because Perkz has to find some angles. He's 0-0-0 on this LeBlanc, and ultimately every time sort of Kaiser or the rest of the squad is engaged, Perkz hasn't had the time or the opportunity to find any of those targets, because it's just been straight front to back, and it hasn't been the ideal scenarios. That being said, Vitality are still 1500 gold out.
Yeah, looks like it's going all right for now. TV back from Sertuss, not level 11 just yet. Would ideally like to get that second point in ultimate, but look at Vitality. They're not too sure about fighting yet. Let's let Perkz get top tower. He has TP. We'll take Dragon instead. We get outscaled by you. We'll get the Dragons under our belt, so you're not going to get a soul this game no matter what. Just take the reliability aspect of the game. And you touch on Perkz. I think he needs a Mythic, get that AP going, and then his burst will start to get a lot higher. LeBlanc used to be, a bit of a burst mage in the early stages. You can play around her, but now she's almost like, this is going to sound weird, LeBlanc is kind of like Corki at this point.
Oh, okay.
All you do is catch waves, one-shot the waves, and just keep farming. LeBlanc used to be a really awkward champion for farming. You used to go down in creeps, you'd used to drop side waves, you'd have to use your W and ult to clear out waves, but now you just do that, and then you can keep power farming, basically. So we'll see what Perkz can do when he gets towards that Mythic.
He's currently got the high CS for the solo laners, 148, 20 above Sertuss, stuck in that lane a little bit more. Sertuss has been in those waves, and you can just see the static shift. I mean, it just clears those waves so quickly.
Almost gets the interrupt on the back. Did get that one though.
To interrupt the back. Okay, that felt personal. That's about sending a message.
Yeah.
More importantly, it very clearly signals the intentions here from Vitality. They're not looking to scrap or skirmish anytime soon. Wait for the next dragon. They've got 2 under the belt. They've got that lead. They're going to apply some pressure on this tower. Teleport comes in. Good knockup followed by DOS, but he is sent packing. The damage reply from Vitality is good. Exakick is untouched. Here comes Sertuss. Drops down. Tibbers stomping forward, and Kaiser zapped to death. Upset and Perkz forced to run for their life. A 2-for-1 in favor of SK.
There's a counter engage you were talking about. The Maokai ult, the Ornn ult. Even Upset managed to ultimate the flash Tibbers from Sertuss, but it's still a nightmare, isn't it? Bo just gets shredded. Kaiser gets shredded. DOS couldn't even use the ultimate in that fight. So the front to back is gorgeous for SK. Here comes the Herald. Here comes the TP.
Okay, counter engage coming in now. Tower dropped to about 20%. Photon, Dominus available to him. Exakick a little low on mana. He'll throw out Call the Meek. That slice and dice is fantastic. Exakick dropped to 100. Perkz, however, escapes with a sliver of life. Double digits. It ends up being just a single kill for the teleport in favor of Vitality.
Good response from Photon. Managed to get the big shutdown onto Sertuss. Exakick loses his flash as well. They're going to get this tower that they were looking for from the get-go, and they should get the resets off pretty happily.
Caedrel, help me understand, yeah. Bo throws out the Glacial Prison, I assume, because Vitality didn't anticipate the level of defense on their mid tower.
I think he just wants to stop Exakick space, right? Because Exakick wants to recall, spend his money, match Upset's items, but now the Jinx hasn't recalled, so Upset is stronger. So Vitality are happy to fight. They don't have the ultimate, yes, but that Rakan is one-shot. Nautilus ults on Jinx, great, but the chain CC from this Maokai ult, from this Ornn. Now watch Sertuss on the right. Flash Tibbers, Upset manages to use the Featherstorm to dodge it, so he doesn't have to use as much, including the Flash. And then, yeah, obviously, SK have so much beefy frontline, don't they? Tibbers, 2 tanks, this TP from Photon, fantastic. No vision for SK, Sertuss just walks into him.
I mean, a straight front to back is so easy to execute there for SK Gaming. But I think once you do see Photon finding an opportunity, all the cooldowns are used for zoning and for CC. Sertuss did get melted, so that's his first death of the game. We're 2 minutes away from that next dragon. I think, for me, I still scratching my head just a little bit at that Glacial Prison. I don't know what impact it could have had if he'd had it for that next fight. Are you going to chuckle every time Sejuani clears the wave?
He just has to auto-attack the wave and it's dead. Like, then he can move mid. It's just crazy to me that that's even possible. So now Perkz is always freed up on these side lanes. He's going to get really close to that Luden, so he should be able to buy it really soon as well. And of course, because of the jungle changes, Bo's going to have red buff. Upset's going to have red buff. Everyone's going to have red buff, really. I think in the LCK today, they were giving red buff to the LeBlanc as well. So we'll see if that happens as we progress through the game. But the name of the game now for Vitality is Dragon Stacking.
Yeah. 1 minute 30. Let's look at the vision. Once again, Vitality doing a good job setting up wards. Perkz is going to go over the wall. Got himself about 130, 140 odd ability power now with just half an item after that static shiv.
Yep.
But more importantly, 1 minute 20. Very deep vision in this eastern quadrant of the jungle. The Hextech and the Infernal under the belt playing for the Chemtech. So very clear setup that Dragon is the focus. Teleports available for Sertuss, but there's not a great amount of wards. So for SK, we want to see that, challenging the vision, pushing forward into the river if they want to contest that third Drake.
Yeah, and Exakick got his second item now. He's got the Gale Force, he's got the Kraken Slayer. This Jinx is ready to go. No flash just yet, but he has enough CC in front of him and enough protection. And I think they should be happy to fight this Dragon. They're going to contest his mid wave. Photon, no TP, is going to push out top. Sertuss has to teleport himself. He's in bot lane right now, but it looks like SK just want to group up, and looks like Vitality might drop it, play for that top tower. We'll see what Photon does.
I mean, it's a 3,000 gold lead here for Vitality, of which, 2,000 gold lead there. No, it's really 3,000. My math is awful. But about 2.5 to 3,000 of that is in Photon and Bo's shoes. So Photon, no TP. He's going to push that tower. Dragon is now, the river control rather, is being contested in SK. They may get collapsed on.
Yeah, Photon's moving down, no teleport. Midwave's coming in, SK needs to get this one in and move towards the Dragon pit. Perkz is just going to one-shot the wave, but can Vitality find and engage? SK, where's the TP?
Sertuss needs to TP. Nature's Grasp is down. Call the Forge God. Knocks up one. That's Bo in trouble. He gets the Arctic Assault out in the prison. It's a trade of 1-for-1, but it's Exakick down as well as DOS following suit. Now Kaiser and Perkz running for their lives. Keep your eyes on Perkz and Photon. They find another. That's far 2 for 3 in favor of Vitality. Dredgeline pulls Kaiser away for now. He stays out of range of Irrelevant. Knocked up by that pillar. Another kill for Perkz. Another kill for Vitality. And a convincing one in the mid lane. Kaiser not going to be able to take it out as Irrelevant face plants into the wall.
Yeah, it's a 4 for 2, isn't it? So much was invested in actually taking Bo down of all people. Exakick didn't really have any peel left because all the ultimates were used on the Sejuani. When the Renekton arrives, Photon was untouched. Trying to mug throughout the entire fight. This Renekton after the buffs in the mid game is so powerful if you just decide to ignore him. So we'll see that one again. Sertuss' TP was quite far away. You'll see he's TPing in the bot side river. Now look how many ultimates used on Bo. There's the Maokai ult, there's the Ornn ult. Here comes Rakan as well. Everyone on the Sejuani. So now Exakick's just kind of sitting there with a LeBlanc on top of him. A Nautilus ult. There's a Renekton running at him. There's nothing he can do. But Sertuss on the bottom side there just one-shots Upset. So that's a little bit to work with. But their carry's dead. Their DPS is gone.
I mean, Perkz and Upset did so well at the beginning of the fight. That Featherstorm, I think, rooted up 2 or 3. Such great area, but you can see how when Vitality are able to play from multiple angles, their comp can do well. SK don't focus Sejuani. Fortunately for them, Perkz just left uncontested, which means he will complete that Luden's Echo 2-0-3. And Perkz' LeBlanc fully online. 3 dragons secured, 4,000 gold lead. And Vitality now starting to generate enough of an advantage, enough of a lead that front to back is less threatening or scary than it was 5-6 minutes ago.
SK's only real option is just to defend, catch these side waves, and then hopefully group up mid on the next couple waves. Perkz can just keep Sertuss under tower, though, by just constantly pushing these waves in. Can even look for tier 2s if he's feeling confident enough. There he goes, walking forward. It's got a little bit of bonus AD from the static shiv. So yeah, he can just kind of just auto attack this wave, go back to mid. There's there's no real like look what's going on my screen. Like this.
Come on, one more.
Perkz, all you had to do was auto attack.
Oh, that's a former bot laner that didn't complete that auto attack either.
Get the 600 gold.
That's it. Look at the minimap though. SK, do they attempt the flank? Do they attempt the flank is the question. No.
Now he can move back mid. Oh, this has to be hotfix, right? This is absurd, or at least permanently banned. So now they're going to collapse on him, but he's basically gone. So SK are just saying, well, side lanes are screwed. Let's just start Baron.
Okay, burger flip time. Teleport's being channeled here as Photon will come in from the red buff. Baron's very slow thus far, 9,000. 4 members in the pit. Sertuss waiting in the flank. No flash available. 2 members of Vitality up top. Kaiser's coming down as well.
Oh, they've got such a good pincer
here.
Go
forward. Nature's Grasp up. Perkz is going to go over the wall. Finds the chains. Forge got knocks up onto Bo, and he will get taken out by dots. Photon and Perkz now trying to get the damage in reply. Markoon is down. 1, 2, 3. More kills for Vitality, and SK are routed and wrecked and ruined in the river.
Oh, they were pincered from so many different angles. The Ornn gave them one way to play on, and it was up towards the top side where they managed to find Bo, but there was so many things that Exakick had to be careful from. He managed just to flash away from the Renekton, but the E2 comes out and he gets taken down. When Exakick falls, everything else falls around him. And SK gonna lose the Baron here.
You could feel the desperation of that Baron, or the panic, the fear. Yep. Vitality played it so well. Again, multi-pronged attack.
This Ornn gives them a direction. Right now, they just look scattered everywhere. Everyone wants to go in every direction. Ornn goes up. Everyone realizes this is the only angle we can play on. Exakick Gale Force is good. If he flashes that hook from Kaiser, maybe he can play this fight a bit better. But here comes Photon. He goes down. Upset's untouched as well. So you're flashing into a Xayah nevertheless. So there was really no space to work with for SK. The front to back doesn't work.
And I think that SK comp, you really see like the shotgun effect. If that first shot is not successful, the mobility and the champions that Vitality have put together can just dance circles around SK.
Yep.
Exactly as they did. So they pushed that gold lead 7,500 with 2 minutes until the Dragon Soul available. Baron's on the side of Vitality. They've got all the tools available, everything that they need. Now we need to just see how they play this late game. How do they push it out? Next line onto Irrelevant. Full Forge Guard out, and Kaiser will be taken down. Glacial Prison slows them down. Perkz trying to chip away from the back. SK all of a sudden gifted another kill. 1 minute 30, not a lot to play with, but they do have 2 outer towers, top and bottom.
It's 1 minute 32 minutes to the Dragon before this play happens, and SK are playing a 5v5 comp. Their only option is to group mid and fight. Vitality kind of giving it to them there. Kaiser no flash. Maybe they thought they could take that fight, but Upset wants the base for Bloodthirster. Top waves are now getting pushed in by Perkz, which this is how you split up the team fight comp. You just push in these sides and you have to catch eventually. Otherwise, you're just going to lose inhibitors at that point. So they lose Kaiser. It's going to slow down the Baron, but their objective is this next Dragon.
Yeah, it really is. Get that soul. Another head-scratching moment when you consider, like you said, you've got that Baron buff. You can play the side lanes. Wait till you get those teleports available. You're not under pressure, especially with the lead they built.
Yeah.
And I think a little bit of a trend here. I think Kaiser's engages or Kaiser's synergy with the team.
He likes to hook in. He
does
he
like
wants to fight.
But not every hook should be thrown, you know? So
yeah.
Unfortunately for him, 0-4 this time round. And with 30 seconds until this next Dragon, Photon's pushing the bottom lane, level 15, got an advantage over his opposite. 3,000 gold lead. Photon in the top lane, 2,500 for Perkz in the mid lane. It's exactly what you wanted to see from the comp, from draft.
And this is how they should play the map. Look at Photon pushing bot, Vitality hide in your jungle. Perkz can deal with the mid waves. Now the team fight comp has to kind of split up a bit.
Perkz has got a 3-level advantage over Sertuss, and he's about to Flame Horizon him as well. 270 creeps to 182. That's static shift. That static shift is doing work right now.
You see he got 2 procs there because he W'd and ran so far forwards that when he auto-attacked with the static shift and W'd back, it stacked up because of the units, right? It doesn't matter how many times you right-click, it's the units you travel. So he just W's back and gets another proc. And the red buff should regen him. He has the TP anyway. The soul's gone. The Baron buff's going to wear off.
The advantage is secured there. I mean, Perkz has now picked himself up the Void Staff. He's got 10 stacks on that Medjai's. You did talk a little bit about that static shift and like hot fixing. I can't remember who was talking about on Reddit, but I did see that there was explicit callouts to not interacting with the charges on static shift on champions like LeBlanc, for example.
Yeah, maybe change. I don't know. There's a lot of things to do. I saw people saying maybe just change it from magic damage to physical, but then I don't know what happens with AD carries. I'm sure the scalings will have to change around the item itself, but we'll see what happens with it. Looks really, really strong. Absurdly broken, and I think a lot of teams for the rest of the day will probably be permanently banning this champ, as Perkz will carry on pushing out waves. Never really under threat. You know, it reminds you of the Rise with Stopwatch. You could just push out sides, and every time they collapse on you, you just Rise ults, Stopwatch inside it. There's nothing you can do. Same kind of thing with these top waves. He just right-clicks the wave, W's back, and you can't really stop him from doing it. It's just such a nuisance to deal with.
The thing that I want to see from Vitality, though, is like clearly playing those side lanes. Oh, my word!
Oh yeah, did I mention he can do that too? Oh wait, and then he can one-shot the wave as well. So, you know, there's not really a weakness in this, is there?
Where did Sertuss go? Perkz just obliterates him. 3, 0, and 6. About to Flame Horizon. Photon is pushing the bottom tower. Underneath the top lane, DOS and Exakick trying to turn something around, and SK Gaming maybe find themselves a kill. Perkz gets shut down, going back to that Mimic. Pressures on the inhibitor in the bottom lane. Bo and Photon unable to secure the tower, but they've littered SK's jungle with wards on the start to back out as well.
Perkz went back there and just gave 1,000 gold to Exakick. He just picked up a BF sword and a stopwatch. That Jinx is getting close to Guardian Angel, and he's going to have flash soon. Elder in 4 minutes. And Vitality having a little bit of fun. They've got a big lead, but they need to be careful. Ornn items, these champions, so much CC in a Jinx. Be careful, I think.
Especially if Exakick is able to get excited and run amok. Now, look, don't get me wrong, it is still a gigantic disadvantage. But for Vitality, they haven't exactly inspired confidence here in terms of cleanly closing out or playing these side lanes.
Yeah, you can see the one-shot here from Perkz. Manages to just instantly take him down. So we saw down there, LeBlanc did 20,000 damage this game.
Yes.
How much damage do you think his static shift did?
You tell me.
7,500.
What? That is crazy.
Yeah, looking at the game client now.
7,300 damage to champions.
Yeah.
From that static shift.
Perkz going back there a bit greedy. Exakick, massive shutdown for him. Not only is it 1,000 gold, but he lost the Magi stacks there too. So, yeah, so a third of Perkz' damage right now is coming from that item alone.
Well, listen, it's my first game back in Summer. Can I give you all a spicy quick stat? Do you know if SK dropped this game, they are on an 8-game losing streak, and the last time they won was in spring week 2.
Oh.
That's how long it has been since SK have picked up a win. 7 in a row for now. This could be 8.
Group stage was tough for them.
It really,
0-4
really was.
knocked out.
And it's looking really tough now. Perkz right now, 3-1 and 6. One small advantage, not only the gold to Exakick, his Medjais has dropped to 4 stacks. The inhibitor is going to be defended by Irrelevant, who has his teleport.
Yeah, he's going to lose the inhibitor. He needs to just hold the Nexus. SK need to look for a fight somehow. Sertuss has flash, DOS has flash. Vitality aren't giving it to them, though. Irrelevant's trying to clear these waves, but can't really do much against the LeBlanc as Ornn. This matchup is nothing he can really do. Perkz has so much mobility that you can't really lock him down with any of your CC. Top wave's pushing in. Perkz could just run top right now and take the top inhib in his face.
Well, right now, SK going to try another Baron. It didn't go so well last time. Perkz has hit level 18, a 4 advantage. Irrelevant is being chipped away. Minions are being conga-lined towards the Nexus turret. Baron's down to 4,000 hit points and 4 members of Vitality stepping into the pit. Double teleport, 2,000 inside the pit. It's secured by Sertuss, but can SK win the fight? Fall of the Forge God goes wide, and Exakick is dropped. 1, 2 members killed. Vitality are destroying SK. They got the Baron, but it was a pity prize, as SK will lose 4. DOS running for his life to avoid the ace, while the rest of the squad are inside on the Nexus.
That's going to be game. You can't really fault SK. They have to just start a fight, start a Baron, start a 5v5 somehow. They got it, but they misplayed it just a bit. They're all in the pit, all stacked up. Exakick did manage to flash over the wall, and it just got collateral down. Vitality going to find their first win of Summer.
The back of Perkz' static shiv, LeBlanc, and strong side lane play. Over 9,000 damage to champions from that item. Vitality will take down SK. Hit the Nexus! And they do.
And they do. So smiles on the Vitality faces. They said they lacked a lot of CC yesterday, a lot of ways to engage, and I think this way of playing the map with engage as well just makes your life so much easier.
I mean, look, it's a slow and confident win here from Vitality. A few small missteps that did get punished by SK, but ultimately, the game really was under their control from minute 3. Bo goes for that bot lane tower dive. As soon as they start racking up the kills, SK just didn't really have an answer, and they're straight front to backs. They weren't able to set them up consistently enough.
They were just being pulled apart, weren't they? They wanted to group up and fight. They managed to find some kills on some punishes around the early river bot fights where they thought Exakick wasn't there, and so forth on the mid waves. But yeah, Vitality kind of had it under their control. Every single time they pushed out those sides, they could never really find a fight they were looking for.
Do you know, when you said that LeBlanc is kind of like Hawkeye, I wasn't entirely sure I agreed. After watching that game, 100% sold.
Yeah.
Every static shift proc is just
it's like a
big
corky
one.
side lane.
Yes.
It's like, what's going on?
Every single time. But like the damage to champions, the wave control Perkz, especially for a player like Perkz, who has had a history of playing side lanes, being confident in playing the map, it really just accentuates his style.
He ran away with it. And you can vote for your player of the game at LEC on Twitter. Photon, Perkz, and Upset. Pick your poison.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, Photon or Perkz. I think it was the solo laners really took over the game and really dictated the pace of it. I think for SK, another struggle. 8 games in a row. So last time they won was week 2 in spring.
Is that their 9th loss?
That is their 8th. So it was 7th, this was 8th, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, 0-2 start's not what you want to look for. 9 games, I think 3 wins is the same.
Oh, actually, just to confirm, that was their 9th. So Stats team just correcting me. That, So yeah, I was 8. That was number 9.
Damn, okay, they need to start picking up wins. They need at least a win tomorrow, otherwise it's going to be a horror week, isn't it?
I mean, tomorrow we'll be playing XL. We'll see how well XL are playing because they will be in the next match against Fnatic, which we'll be casting. But for now, I mean, Vitality, first win of summer. They do it off the back of those side lanes. And literally, you read it from draft. So kudos, Caedrel.
Yeah, side lanes is where it's at.
Just heard the interview is ready. So let's stand on stage with Kaiser.
Thank you very much, Quickshot. Kaiser, congratulations. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
How does it feel? Second day, you grab that W.
I mean, it feels really nice. Like, I feel like a lot of people are still doubting us, right? And of course, after the Mad Lions game, we were kind of doubting ourselves as well. But I think we knew the draft in the first game was not the best. And I think now we kind of figured out, like, we have to just have a bit of CC. And I think that was the trick. And we feel much more comfortable now.
Talking about the draft, if we can put it up on screen as well. Now, Perkz didn't want to tell me a lot before the game, but he did mention a LeBlanc, which ended up being your B1. How incredibly broken is she with the Shiv?
I mean, it's just really funny that like 2 days before, like everyone was screaming, right? No one had this on its radar, right? And then 2 days before LEC starts, like everyone is just spamming LeBlanc, like with a static Shiv. It just feels so weird to me. But of course, like it seems really broken, like killing the wave with 1 auto attack, like no one has any counterplay. And she's healing so much as well with fleet footwork, right? I feel like it's really broken now.
I mean, screw the waves. She was auto-attacking the Ornn to death. So if we can go over to your gameplay, which LeBlanc made so easy through a side lane, something that Perkz told me earlier on was your team fighting, your setups were not necessarily where you guys wanted them to be. And if we can put the clip on screen right now, you guys playing around Baron 23 minutes in, you had a 4-man, 4-way flank.
Yeah, I think we try to really work hard on like objective setups, and I think it's way easier to play when we have like champions that we are comfortable with and that have like a lot of CC, right? Like this game we had the Nautilus, we had Renekton on the flank, LeBlanc can flank. I feel like it's much easier to play than when you have like enchanters and like maybe a Gwen top lane and a Kindred, right? That all need kind of CC, like someone to start a fight, but we didn't really have that in the first game. And I think those champion picks like Nautilus, Renekton just made it so much easier for us to like find our flanks and engages.
And aside from the picks, I know that you're a huge voice in Vitality in-game as well, as in shot calling. Oh, we had some woos over there. Have you seen changes from yesterday to today being implemented? And are you happier with your guys' gameplay in day 2?
I mean, for sure. I think like, especially when people are playing champions which have a lot of agency, where they can like kind of head first straight into the fight, right? And like we can kind of micromanage each other sometimes, right? Like look for TP here, I'm putting what there so you can TP later, you know? I think that's way easier if you have a draft like ours. I mean, maybe not like too much communication changed. I think we are really vocal, all of us. It's just mostly like today we had the tools that made this communication kind of way easier, and just, yeah, that was kind of it.
Yeah, you guys made it look really easy in the team fights. Kaiser, thank you so much for joining me. We're gonna throw it onto a very quick break, but don't go anywhere, because Fnatic versus XL is coming up next.
They overextended a little bit. Oh, Bo's just gonna... Hello.
He's flashed for this one. Optic Assault is available. The root, the stun. Exakick is down. Here comes Sertuss. Tibbers is available and drop down. Incinerate, disintegrate.
Any Jinx, go on. Any. Okay. Any. Nice. No flash Jinx, no flash Jinx. Envelope.
Okay, you're fine.
Nice.
Though is like clearly playing those side lanes. Oh my word!
Oh yeah, did I mention he can do that too?